It's a bull. Good morning. Hey, what's up, Weebles? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. I've got the live Robbie's Marina cam up here today, and this is in the Isla Mirada in the Keys. Pretty cool stuff. If you take a look here, you can't see them right now, but there's tons of huge tarpon that are all around this little pier. They give you some food. You can come out here and feed it. I was actually talking to one of the viewers of my videos here. I think he's in from the upper west corner of the country there. I believe, I forgot if he said Washington State or something like that, but he was down here with his wife, and I was telling him the other day, and if you're watching, this is Robbie's Marina. It's a great drive. It's about 3 hours south of my place, so if you're visiting South Florida and you're coming down here and you're going to make a trip down to the Keys, by the way, one of the most, other than the Pacific Coast Highway in California, one of the most beautiful drives that you can make from Miami to Key West here on a nice, beautiful blue sky day too, because the water is just all different colors of blue and turquoise and green. But no less, this is Robbie's Marina, pretty cool place in South Florida. It's kind of an institution as well down there. And if some of you wondered why I called you Weebles, because us precious metal, at the beginning I said, what's up, Weebles? Because we get knocked down, but we don't stay down. That's what Weebles did, right? Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. If anyone remembers that back in the 70s. And that's kind of what precious metals people that understand precious metals. We get knocked down, but we get right back up because we know what the end result is. And these little knockdowns that we see don't bother us Weebles, us precious metal Weebles, because we know what the deal is. We know that they can only kind of manipulate monkey hammering these markets for so long. All right, well, into my theme right here for the year, which is think for yourself and question authority. Question yourself as well. Always question what you think you know, because you'll just be a smarter person because of it. But especially, question authority. Always question authority. The reason that we're in trouble like we are today, economically and politically, is because we haven't. And well, anyway, you know my views on that. Let's take a look at precious metals today and see what we're doing. Currently, it's holding on to these levels pretty good. It seems like all markets across the board seem to be doing well, and this is after the jawboning by the Fed about taper too. Kind of weird environment, if you ask me. When you got cryptos up, you got the stock market up, you got gold and silver up. What's going on? And I believe even the dollar up as well, including interest rates slightly raised, I think, this week. What do they say, 24 points or 25 basis points or something like that? Still insignificant if you've been watching my video for the last few days. Well, let's talk about what we got here going on. Looks like silver's got a little monkey hammered. No, we broke the 23 mark. What am I saying? Monkey hammered. Monkey hammered up. Nice to see that. Give me 1 second. Sip of coffee here. So we're currently sitting at 1824.77. It looks like the overnight range is about $10 there. Tight ranges with gold. It hasn't really been moving any large amounts one way or the other. Seems like it goes up $10, comes down $8 or $9, but it's still, the momentum is upward, it seems, with gold, and that's a good thing. We've seen this rubber band effect with markets getting monkey hammered on the Globex and Crimex markets, both owned by Comex, in early mornings, or actually of late before New York opening, which was kind of strange this week if you followed me and you watched the 24-hour charts. So gold trading in a really tight range, silver not so much, but right now 1824.70, and again low of the 1850. We'll look at the 24-hour charts in a moment. Silver currently sitting at 23. We broke through that 23 pretty fast, it looks like. Low at 22.67 and a high at 23.02. We're back into those trading ranges when silver's moving around 50 cents per day, up and down. 50 cents up, 48 cents back. 50 cents up, 48 cents back. So we're clawing our way ahead here, it appears. It looks like these short positions are going to have a hard time, especially with the big silver short positions, in my opinion. Gold is going to bring the price of silver up, no matter how you look at it. Gold is a wealth preservation, and has been for 5,000 years. As soon as we start getting more buyers into the gold market and gold starts driving up even higher, it will definitely bring silver along with it. It may be a little bit delayed. You may see that silver to gold ratio move quite a bit. And if you remember, the same thing happened in 2020 when we saw the gold and silver ratio go to 116 to 1. I think on the close it was like 112 to 1 gold to silver ratio. And then what happened? Silver played catch up with gold. catch up, not catch up. Played catch up with the price of gold, and we saw silver shoot up to that $30 level really fast. I suspect that's how it's going to play out again. We'll see. But you never know. Silver could make the first big moves as well. Tough to call in the short term on this kind of stuff. Let's take a look at platinum, nearing that $1,000 mark. Got whacked pretty good yesterday. A low of 967 overnight and a high of 987. So we're right near that high, and I'm not even going to talk about palladium, of course, because nobody buys it that we're aware of. And let's take a look at the charts here and see what the 24-hour spot gold chart, and let's see where the action has actually occurred. I suspect our up action again, yep, I'm right, is in the New York COMEX markets right here. And there we go. There's your spike right there up to plus 1825. Kind of backed off to 1820, and here we are again. I don't think we're going to see any monkey hammering today for the rest of the day. I think we're going to maintain at these levels because most of the monkey hammering that we've seen in gold and silver markets have occurred either prior to noontime in the COMEX markets, or the COMEX markets, I should say, and in last week or this week, I think it was yesterday or the day before, we seen silver get taken down in what I thought was probably the Globex markets, not London markets. Kind of in this range, and we haven't seen that takedown yet. So if the pattern still kind of is happening, I believe that we're going to see at least gold prices here steady out. And let's take a look at silver. So I think we're going to see plus 1820 here for the rest of the day, in my opinion. Let's see what happens, how it plays out. And same thing with silver. Take a look at that. Our rise is in the COMEX markets right here, and you can see she shot up there, and now she's moving into that $23 territory. I think it would be highly unusual. I mean, it's not noontime yet, but after noon, if this line steadies out on silver, I think it's going to pretty much stay there for the rest of the day until maybe the evening markets. We'll see what happens tomorrow, Thursday, and in the markets tonight as well. But some nice moves upward. Nice to see that. And again, what I've been seeing with gold and silver is that 10 steps forward and 9 steps back. Been happening on a weekly basis. That's kind of been the trend, and the trend overall is slowly moving upwards. So we've built a really good base in gold and silver, but we've done that 5,000 years ago. We built that base, and it's still standing today, unlike a lot of things. Let's take a look at the stock markets and see, man, this, again, kind of weird to see gold and silver markets up, see the crypto markets up, see the Dow. Let's take a look. That's Dow futures, and that's probably needs to be updated. Okay, there we go. Yeah, everything's in the green here still. Dow's up 125, S&P. And what time is it? It's still less, not even 10 o'clock yet, Eastern time. So markets across the board up, and let's take a look here and see what's happening with cryptos. Cryptos as well, up across the board. So, wow, God, the fluctuation of that Bitcoin is just insane. That is the most volatile, crazy market I've ever seen. It's definitely casino-like for sure. Gets you a little excited too when you think that, hey, maybe I'll put some money in that machine, like a poker machine almost. Well, anyways, kind of interesting markets here. We're up across the board on everything, and the charts are showing that it's happening in the New York hours. And again, if we don't see anything drop back from these levels by noontime, I suspect it's going to stay the same pretty much throughout the day until the evening markets. It'll probably close in this area today in New York as well. Again, that's my assumption, and I could either be a hero or zero by just saying that out loud. So again, that market up, crypto's up. What's going on out there in the world of news? I found this interesting. It's digital gold. Half of billionaire Bill Miller's personal wealth is tied to Bitcoin. My God, I just think that's insane. I mean, how did the guy become a billionaire making those kind of decisions? I know someone will be going to say, well, of course, he's in Bitcoin. He must be a genius. But, why would you put half of your net wealth gosh, even if the guy lost half of his billion, he's still worth what? He's not going to miss any meals. It doesn't look like he's missed any meals anyway. So he is not going to miss any meals, even if he lost half of his money. But half of his personal wealth is tied to Bitcoin. That's just insane. And what made me question this even more is some comment that he made down here. Let's take a look at this. Where does it go? Miller argues that Bitcoin provides insurance to financial catastrophe that no other asset can provide, and is only investment that can increase in value by 10 or 15 times. That statement is questionable to me. 10 or 50 times. Yeah, he's mentioned that, but why? It can also decrease by 10 or 50 times as well. A highly volatile asset. He goes on to say, I think the average investor should ask himself, what do you think your portfolio has this kind of, what do you have in your portfolio that has this kind of track record? It depends on when you look at the chart for Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin went from pretty much being worthless to 60,000 back down to 30,000, about half in a short period of time here. And can provide service or insurance against financial catastrophe. Well, what happens if you have a complete internet failure and a complete power failures, or some kind of virus that just knocks the cryptos out? I don't know if that's even possible, but I think saying can provide a service that no one else can provide and can go up 10 or 50 times. The answer is nothing. I disagree with that as well, because there's tons of penny stocks that go up 10 or 50 times. You just got to know what the hell you're doing, pick the right companies. And here, Miller does note, certainly if you own any gold, you should own some Bitcoin. In the United States, I can't argue with that. I mean, Bitcoin, I've met quite a few people that have made some major money in Bitcoin, but all the people that I have met that have made major money in Bitcoin were in it at the very beginning. They paid next to nothing for it, and they watched it shoot up to $60,000 a coin. I think some of them are still in it, but even at $30,000, they're still doing well. But again, these are people that were in it when it was worthless, okay? And it's the same thing with penny stocks. If you were in, if you bought Microsoft when it was basically worthless, or you bought Casio, you remember the old story about Casio when it was worthless, or you bought Apple when it was basically worthless, you'd be worth millions. Costco, you name it. So it's not just Bitcoin. I think that's a really, I don't want to say ignorant, because how can a billionaire be ignorant? But well, I've always said that you can be a genius in something and you're probably an idiot in something else. That includes myself. I've got my genius when it comes to precious metals and other things that I kind of play around with, and then I'm sure I've got my where I think I'm a genius. The whole world's like that. Just because a guy's a billionaire doesn't make him a genius. He just kind of got lucky, and whatever he did well. Well, anyways, this is a comment that makes me question Miller's intelligence here. And he says, in the United States, Franklin Roosevelt confiscated everybody's gold in 1933. When asked why he invests in Bitcoin since he lives in the U.S., which is supposedly stable, not a country like Argentina, you had to turn in your gold or you went to jail. Miller thinks that Bitcoin is best thought of as digital gold with a strict limited supply. But anyways, he makes a comment here that he's got Bitcoin because he's afraid that they may ask him to turn in his gold. You should own, I'm not quite sure what he's saying there. Give me 1 second. Miller thinks that Bitcoin is best for his digital gold with a strict limited supply. I went on to highlight that as opposed to gold, they can't confiscate your, there's the comment I was looking for. I read it earlier. One of the most idiotic comments, and this guy's a billionaire, trust me, folks. Well, you know how he's going to become a millionaire. He's going to start with his billion and buy Bitcoin. So then he's going to become a millionaire. But you got comments like that. They can't confiscate your Bitcoin. So he's kind of saying that they can confiscate your gold. And I tell you, folks, if you watch enough of my videos over the year, you know that's such a bullshit comment. In fact, a lot of YouTubers out there use that gold confiscation as a way to sell overpriced numismatics. I'm not going to name who they are, but they do. And that's just bullshit. The government will never come to confiscate your gold again. It's just not going to happen. In fact, I think you have a better chance of seeing Bitcoin being confiscated if some people don't pay their proper taxes on it. As far as gold goes, physical gold, they're never going to confiscate physical gold again and physical silver. I will debate anybody on this. I'll debate any YouTube talking head about this that wants to get into the conversation. Just challenge me. I'll be there. But no less, folks, you can rest assured gold will never be confiscated, nor will your silver, okay? And I'm going to tell you a couple of reasons why. First, we're not on the gold standard anymore. Roosevelt had a somewhat half-assed reason or half-assed justification for not confiscating, but asking people to turn their gold in back in that 1933, I think it was, when it happened, shortly after the Depression. And you got to remember too, people were very patriotic as well. We bought, people turned in their gold voluntarily. It wasn't worth much more than a $20 gold certificate, which was payable in a $20 gold coin, was really the gold wasn't worth much more than the $20 bill itself. Certainly not enough to make people complain or whine about turning it in. So a lot of people voluntarily turned their gold in at that time. I think there's only a couple cases where the Treasury Department actually went after somebody for doing it. I think one guy got in trouble and another guy, the case was dropped. But again, confiscation of gold. This just shows me that this gentleman, this billionaire right here, obviously did not do his homework. And again, quoting something like that shows me how ignorant he is when it comes to gold and gold confiscation. Again, not gonna happen. And let me kind of, because I know there's some folks out there probably saying, well, Brian, you know, they could do it. I mean, they can do anything they want, and that's true. But let me tell you a couple reasons again. We're no longer on the gold standard. With Roosevelt, again, patriotic reason to turn the gold in to help support your country. And it wasn't worth as much back then, so people didn't mind as much. Very few people were ever, nobody really had their gold confiscated. Again, I think there was a few handful of cases. And besides that, we were on the gold standard. He had a half-assed reason to ask people to turn in their gold. Well, folks, we're no longer on a gold standard. What possible reason would government have or want, since we are in a fiat mode since 1972 with Nixon? Why would they ask us to turn in their gold? There's no reason whatsoever that they would ask us to turn in their gold. In fact, that would amount to just sheer theft. And if you're like me, you think taxes are theft anyway, but that would be just sheer theft. And here, let me put the real zinger in anybody that wants to debate why the government will not confiscate gold. Well, here's the good reason. First off, they'd have to go door to door to get it. How are they going to get the data? Who has it? What are they going to do? Stormtroop through people's doors, start digging up your backyards? It would cost them more to, even if, say, if they just did it illegally and they were just kind of rob you of your gold, it would cost them more to pay people to go look for your gold than they would probably take in, all right? That's the cost of government, of course. And the second thing is they don't need your gold. They don't want your gold. They live in a fiat society. To them, real money is fiat paper dollars, all right? And again, even if they were dead broke and they were looking for sources of income, they're not going to take your gold. You know what they'll do? They're going to take your pension account. They're going to take your retirement account. They're going to take your Social Security with the stroke of a pen. They don't have to knock down your door to get gold. They don't have to dig up your backyard, torture your children to find out where your gold is. That ain't going to happen, folks. They're going to just take they're going to take your pensions. They're going to take your Social Security. They're going to take your 401ks, and with the stroke of a pen, it'll be gone. You don't even have a chance to do anything about it. With the stroke of a pen, that shit will be gone, all right? That's what's confiscation. That's where the confiscation is going to happen. There, and with higher and higher taxes and the confiscation of a fiat dollar that buys less and less and less. But confiscating your gold and silver, you get me one expert out there in YouTube land, and I'd love to have this debate with them. I really, really would, but I don't think anyone would dare challenge me. Well, anyways, I'm going to move along from here, and let's take a look. And again, man, this guy is on his way to becoming a millionaire. That's for sure. That's my opinion, at least. Well, let's move into the next thing here, which is, why are you buying gold and silver? What is the whole point of gold and silver? And are you here to get rich quick? I mean, that seems to be the general mentality. That's what is causing a lot of people to jump into Bitcoin and Ethereum. Even a friend of mine who owns he builds fishing rods, okay, super nice friend, Stuart. Stewart Industries, actually. He builds a great fishing rod butt, by the way, for you fishermen out there. He's been around, second generation equipment seller, or actually manufacturer. But Stewart called me and said, I don't think you'll mind me telling you this. He was talking about maybe buying Bitcoin, jumping in. And more or less, you know, he kind of just said, yeah, it's kind of the fear of missing out is what makes me want to do this, and the get rich quick aspect. And Stewart's a very, very conservative guy. So I was really surprised to hear him saying that he was thinking about it. But again, his motivation was this: get rich quick, really. And he even admitted it. I'll throw a little bit of money at it, you never know. But that was his entire, you know, as far as this goes, what is this? This is wealth preservation. Now, this is why, if you want to get rich quick, throw a little bit of money at Bitcoin, you know. But I'm telling you, folks, I think that train is over. The only people that got rich quick are people that bought in at the very, very, very bottom at the beginning. And of course they're going to get rich when it goes from 0 to 60,000 if they timed it right. But for the rest of us, I think this train is over. I believe it's going to be just a glorified money market account. But no less, if you want to risk it, and you got the money to risk, go into Bitcoin. As far as gold and silver, what is gold and silver? Gold and silver is this. It's wealth preservation. It's watching your pennies. And of course, you know that it takes the first 40 years of your life you spend trying to make money. The second 40 years, and you can say 30 years, 20 years, whatever you want to do. The second 40, though, is trying to keep it. Gold and silver, precious metals, all about wealth preservation. It grows like this little leaf right here, and it grows slowly, and it grows by the accumulations of pennies and nickels and whatever else. So if you're in gold and silver to get rich quick, folks, you're in the wrong market. However, I want to tell you, you can make a lot of money on gold and silver, but that's the icing on the cake. Your only thought when you're buying gold and silver is it should be about wealth preservation and the fact that you know you're going to wake up every morning in your gold and silver bars, if you stored them properly inside your own property and you didn't let someone else hold them for you, every morning you're going to wake up and feel assured, just like owning that pistol in your house, that you feel more confident that you can survive something that comes your way. You're going to feel the same thing with gold and silver in your home, not being held by even the most trusted guys out there that do the, like PSLV, Sprott Silver. I mean, as much as I like Sprott Silver and I like Sprott and stuff, it's not in your possession, folks. If something happened to Sprott, the Canadian government or wherever, I think they're in Canada, if something happened to Sprott, not even their fault, your stuff's gone. So, and I've had counterparty risk. I was calling it second party, third party risk, but I've had counterparty risk before with a company I trusted, and I still trust them today, but someone else took them down, and they almost took down a lot of my money with them. All right, so gold and silver, the beauty of owning gold and silver, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise, is having it in your own possession, storing it yourself, avoiding that counterparty risk, okay? And even the best intentions, like Sprott, anything could happen to them, And not only that, I got to tell you, I did own Sprott. It's not a good long term. You get eaten up in fees unless you have a tremendous amount of it. So over the years, I was surprised at how much in fees I got eaten up in Sprott. And the nice thing about gold and silver bars, there are no fees, man. Nobody charges you to hold it. Nobody charges you to store it. Nobody charges you to deliver it. Whatever. You got it in your own hands. It's been around for 5,000 years. It is the truest and the best wealth protection that you can get. I wish I knew poor Bill Miller, because I'd like to help him before he became a millionaire and give him this advice. I hope he's not listening. That's pie in the sky stuff. Of course, Bill wouldn't listen to a guy like me. But no less, what are you in precious metals for? If it's this, you're in the wrong market, folks. If it's this, you are in the best market, the market that's been around for 5,000 years, has a track record, and as long as you're storing it yourself, you're likely never going to lose it. It's never going to go bankrupt on you. All right, well, let's move into some other stuff. You know my feelings on this. And I wanted to look at the misery index today, and this is a free site, by the way. It's called the miseryindex.us, and they do it by month, by president, by Congress. And interestingly enough, misery index 11.0 equals rate 4.2 for unemployment and a 6.8 for inflation. So the unemployment would be the blue bar right there. The inflation rate would be the red bar right there. And let's take a look at a period of time where we knew we had huge inflation. And it looks like the unemployment rate was kind of tethering a little bit higher there as well. But no, look at the inflation rate under the Carter years right there. Look at the misery index, 13.5, 13.6, 17, 20.76. I mean, really, that seems to be, I'm going to take a look here, but wow, the Carter years seem to be a real all-time high. And I think we're seeing some similar parallel to the Carter years right now, especially when it comes to inflation. Take a look at that red line. You won't see it bigger anywhere on this chart. Going back to 1948, I think, when they started this chart. Take a look at that. It's just insane. Look at the inflation rate here. But after Reagan gets in, you can see it starts to taper down dramatically. Unemployment rates kind of trickle down as well. Employment, is a little bit better. This goes through Reagan, through Bush Sr., through Clinton as well. Inflation rates seem generally held down here, and over time even smaller and smaller through GW there, through Obama. You can take a look at that, 2009. I looked at that and said, why is there no inflation? But it just occurred to me, what happened in 2008, 2009. We had the great, what they call the Great Recession, all right? So you've got no inflation at all there because nobody's buying shit. Zero inflation. In fact, we had deflation going on. But look at the unemployment rate, just went crazy under Obama. And again, the misery index, all right, went up substantially. The fact that Obama was able to get this, he went in what, 2008, 2009, 2012. There we go. There's his first term right there. And it looks like the fact that we had unemployment numbers going down, and we also had inflation numbers kind of going down a little bit or staying about status quo. That's probably how Obama snuck through office here. If you take a look at George Bush Sr., you know, nobody, he was still in a, what do they call it? No incumbent president has ever been elected during a recession, depression. That's old school news because I think we see under Obama that did happen right here. Obama was reelected. So I think Obama was the first president ever reelected during times of what we could call a depression or a recession or coming off one. No less, take a look at Trump here. You can see the numbers declines dramatically as far as the misery index, but 2020, there we go. What I find odd is I'm wondering when they're going to come out with the Biden data for the misery index, because I suspect, seeing that this index right here in the last quarter of Trump's presidency, that take a look at the unemployment rate just went insane. But of course, we expected that during the COVID or the critter 19. But inflation rates were still quite low. I have a sneaking suspicion that through last year, and again, I don't know why they haven't updated this, but last year we're going to see the misery index up substantially. Even though we're going to see unemployment rates come down, I think we're going to see that inflation rate be very similar. Again, red is the inflation, blue is unemployment. I think we're going to see numbers like this in the Biden administration here, maybe closer to this 13.55 level on the misery index. That's my assumption. I think that's my prediction, actually, when the new 2021 misery index come out with the current administration. I think we're going to see, again, similar numbers to what we're seeing here in the Carter era. Lower unemployment, but you're going to see that red line extend itself out even further. Well, let's take a look at a couple other things too. What's going on with the Treasury yields, the 10-year Treasury yields? Well, you know, if you've been watching my video this week, I've talked about it many times over the last year, but recently I've been talking about why the raising of rates, even if they do it 3 times or 4 times this upcoming year, is such bullshit when it comes to knocking the price of gold down. You know, in the past there was this narrative. And again, what did I say about narratives and questioning authority? Right here, think for yourself and question authority. So when you really look at the numbers and you take a look and you see, well, you know, the rates, a real rate versus a nominal rate, which means that the real rate after inflation. So if you buy treasuries at 1.74, and I think I can show you this in the graph. Currently 1.74. Using actual instead of expected inflation rates, and there we go. We're going to use the most recent one they have here. Okay, the real 10-year yield after inflation. Let's go up here to this chart that shows their predicted inflation rate. Where is the? There we go. Treasury yields 0.91 and 0.73, and I'm not quite sure where we're at today. And again, that looks like it's taking real rates into account. But let's take a look at here. The real 10-year Treasury yield is at minus 5. You know, minus 5. So it's just crazy, man. The idea that people are going to put money into treasuries because it pays a real dividend or a real yield that's positive is bullshit. It's just they would probably have to raise Treasury rates to far higher. I mean, if they raise the 10-year to even 2 or 3%, it still would be a negative rate, I think. Not according to the official inflation rates, but to reality, you're not going to make money at 1.74. You're not going to make money at 2 and 3%. I'm sure that the real inflation rate is much greater than that. That's my opinion. That's the opinion of a lot of people out there that actually think for themselves and question authority, like you should, like we all should. Well, Let's take a look at something else here. Good article by Charles Hugh Smith. Of course, these are free articles. You can give him a donation for reading them, but he writes some really, really good stuff, and he's downright correct about it. The real threat to democracy is corrupting wealth and inequality. All right, and where is he makes a mention down here? Let me see. There's a particular area I wanted to read, and I highly not homework, but recommended reading. I highly recommend that you read this right here. And here we go. Let's see. America is nothing but a vast moral cesspool that the public is told a pristine pond of democracy. Self-enrichment is cloaked as doing God's work. Profiteering is sold as value. Fraud is packaged as finance. And rapacious monopolies are marketed as enterprise. Institutions have become little more than rackets enriching insiders and the wealthiest few. They have lost moral legitimacy, which is the fundamental foundation of democracy and a market-based economy. He's absolutely correct on this. This is sad stuff. Nobody wants to admit it, but the truth is, folks, is that the upper echelon of the elite who basically get all this cheap money or who are making the billions of dollars basically rule Washington, D.C., more or less. They're the ones in control. Again, they rigged the game to their favor. I mean, just look at the silver market. It's a great example of that. Look at the crooked COMEX market. COMEX allowing these big 4 to 8 short commercial positions to completely hammer the price of gold and silver. So 0.1% of the investment world in silver controls the entire market. Meanwhile, 99% of us who invest in gold and silver bars, the miners out there who sweat and labor, pull this gold and silver out of the ground, we all suffer because of that 0.1% that the COMEX allows to cheat this fucking market. All right, and that's a fact. COMEX and crooked COMEX. And the CFTC, the government agency that's supposed to regulate COMEX, they're inept. They're just inept. They're either inept or they're complicit with the whole deal. And the more I read stuff like this, I used to think maybe our government's just so inept, but Mr. Smith is probably right. They're complicit. They're complicit with the deal. Now, the people that control the CFTC now are I think they're congressmen, and if you ever look at and they sit on the agriculture board. So COMEX is regulated by the CFTC, and the CFTC is regulated by the Agricultural Board. And folks, if you just type in Agricultural Board and look at the congressmen that sit on and women that sit on that board, you will be amazed at the amount of stupidity there. So you'll know how these big banks and such pull it over. They have idiots watching over them. They have government agencies that are probably complicit watching over them that allow them to get away with this stuff. And again, this is why COMEX markets have been crooked since I can't even tell you. Anyway, my opinion and the opinions of people that are way smarter than me. So really good article here. I highly recommend you read it. I really do. You should put Charles Hugh Smith on your bookmark bar. I think you'll love the stuff and again, he's not anti-wealth. He's not socialist. He's not he's not a commie or Marxist or anything like that. Socialist, progressive. He's a very smart guy when it comes to fiscal subjects, and he's right. He really is right. It's not a democracy that we're living in anymore. It's a two-party duopoly that is controlled by a small percentage of elites that write the rules and the regulations to their favor. That's exactly what we're living in. We need to take this stuff back. We need to take the government back, folks. Any of you that are thinking about running for a political office, by the way, average Joes out there, no matter what you do, do it, man. Do it. Start small first, move your way up. We need to get these people out of there and start getting some smarter people in office. Well, let's take a look at a couple things I wanted to talk about in Reddit. I'd like to thank the Reddit Wall Street Silver apes out there for viewing my videos. I know a few of you watch them out there, and I do appreciate that. I really do, and I appreciate Wall Street Silver for allowing me to post my videos out there, and they don't take them down so far. Well, However, I did notice a couple things out there I wanted to discuss. You know, one of the issues, not issues, but one of the things that I'm concerned about with some of the great people that do post out here, and man, it's such a great forum. They're all having fun, and they're going to make money down the road, hopefully, unless they're buying overpriced product. And we'll get into that in a moment. But I saw this right here with this gentleman. That's so cool too. Look, he took some of his silver bars and converted it into a Nintendo Game Boy cartridge, I believe, which is pretty damn cool, all right? And I'd like to even own something like that. However, I've got a slight issue and a slight concern. I see a lot of guys out there melting and making their own bars, okay? And I really, trust me, I call it art. I think it's artwork, really. That's the way I look at it. But, well, I shouldn't say but, all right? However, I do see issues with this. When silver starts to skyrocket up, you're going to try to take bars like this. Again, I view them as art. I think it's artistic. But if you tried to take these kind of bars into, even if you melted Engelhard bars or Johnson Matthey silver bars to make this product, when you go to resell this, it's going to be a bit harder to sell. All right, because a lot of people aren't going to, even dealers that don't have the proper equipment, XRF machines and specific gravity and all that stuff are going to be very leery about buying these type of custom art type bars. And probably, in most likelihood, some are going to refuse to buy them, and some are going to just not, discount them really heavily below the silver price. So really, folks, any of people that you were thinking about converting your entire stack into custom artwork type bars, no matter how beautiful and pretty they are, be aware that you might lose yourself any premium and might get heavily discounted when you go back to sell this stuff. However, my recommendations for people that are making really cool stuff like this Nintendo Game Boy bar and other bars is serial number it, put your name on it. That might help as far as credibility goes a little bit. Plus, market it as a piece of art with silver in it, okay? And don't make too many of them. Otherwise, keep your mintages pretty low. Get a small premium for it and sell it as artwork. But I do have to warn you guys that are buying this stuff and that are melting your silver bars into something different. You're going to get hammered on the when you go back to sell this stuff, unless it's marketed as art and there's a demand for this type of art. In which case, you may get a double silver for it if someone thinks it's cool. But again, be real careful melting your bars, please. The other thing that I want you to be careful out there is just even posting. Some guys post their safe with all their gold and silver in it online, which I think is cool, providing that nobody can find out who, again, prestigious-food 111110 is and where they live and all this stuff. But if there's any way for someone to identify where you live and who you are, definitely do not post pictures of your gold and silver online. Just a bad idea. You're setting yourself up for a potential robbery and getting yourself hurt or someone else hurt. And even if you think you're the most protected guy in the world and you end up killing 3 robbers, do you really want that? No. So secrecy is your best thing when it comes to precious metals. Well, let's take a look at what I was talking about, paying too high premiums for things. My shop advertises to beat APMEX, SD Bullion, and JM Bullion. Of course, JM Bullion, in my opinion, is the 800-pound gorilla out of those 3 gorillas there. They're owned by A-Mark. They also own Silvertown, so a lot of power. And they're a publicly traded company that owns JM Bullion, which is A-Mark. So to me, they are the guys to beat right out there when it comes to silver. Let's see what they got in stock silver, and I'll tell you what I think are good deals and bad deals. And again, if you have a good local dealer like me, I can beat their prices. I can beat JM Bullion's prices on most everything they have, even their own products. I have to take a look and see 2646. Give me 1 second. What's the silver price? 2646, and let me do a quick math here and see where they're at on their 1 ounce buffaloes. 26.45 subtract 23.16. They've got them in large quantities. Again, that's probably 500 or more. You can buy them for spot plus $3.30. And what am I thinking here? We have them probably in that range. If you're buying 500 or 1,000, you can probably get them in that same range as well. For buffaloes, I'm not sure I can get buffaloes right now. Sunshines are add to cart. Again, let's see what No, they won't give you the quantity until you type it in. All right. And so that would be their best deal that they have. And they're, let's see, 1 ounce Sunshine Buffaloes. They're about 20 cents more. Again, don't forget that JM Bullion does own. This is why they can sell them for 20 cents less than the Sunshine Buffalo. JM Bullion does own. A-Mark owns JM Bullion, and they own Silvertown. So if you're always wondered why they have Silvertown products cheaper than anyone else, well, there you go. They own the company. The next best bet, $26.65. That probably puts it at around $3.50 over spot. And then you get $26.65 for the Morgans. So those are going to be the best deals they have on JM Bullion as far as silver. I would avoid any other stuff. Let's see if they got 100-ounce bars. Kilo bars, 100-ounce bars, $25.65. That's not a bad deal either. However, as I said, I advertised to beat JM Bullion prices, SD Bullion, and APMEX. I'm just using JM because they are the largest one out there. So the best deals out there with JM are going to be 100-ounce bars, 1 ounce generics, and 10-ounce generics. Let's see, where are they at on 10-ounce generics? Not bad, but again, your local dealer, like me, should be able to beat those prices, plus give you better advice. And when you go to sell the stuff one day, you can walk back into the local dealer that matched or beat JM Bullion's prices and sell it back to them too. That's why I'm always encouraging you guys to develop relationships. Way too much money, avoid silver eagles like the plague, even at $30, even at $28. Again, why would you buy 1 ounce silvers for, why would you buy silver eagles at $28, $29, even $33 when you can buy this stuff at $26? I know some people out there, well, I'll get more when I go to sell it. Well, hey, that's to be seen and maybe unlikely that you're going to get more. In fact, if you sell into a bubble market, you're going to be standing in line next to the guy that's selling 1 ounce Silvertown Buffaloes for the same price that you're getting for your silver eagles, more than likely. Again, if you're selling into a bubble market, which, if I'm around when that happens, I'm going to let you know, and I'm going to tell you to sell some of your gold and silver. I know that's sacrilegious, but I'm going to tell you to sell some gold and silver. Let's take a look at the gold prices here real quick and see in-stock gold. I'll tell you what the best deals are. Again, I can beat these prices. You know, gold eagles have come back to a little more reality now. Like at a spot plus 117, roughly in that range. So not a bad deal, but still the best deals on this entire page. Britannia's at 1906 are not a bad deal. Gold bars are a good deal at 1906. I'd probably go with the Britannia before I went to the gold bar. What are they getting for the Perth bar? It's 1904. That's $2 difference. So those would be the best products. Again, avoid eagles. Not too terrible in price, but there are cheaper products by I don't know, 17, 27, 37, as much as $37 an ounce cheaper. You can buy some of these products as opposed to buying Gold Eagle. Again, you buy Gold Eagle, you're going to pay $37 more than you would, or thereabouts more than you would for 1916, 1904. Give me 1 second here. That would not be correct. As low as 1916. How much over is that? Let me take a look and do a little math here. 70, 80, 90. Give me 1 second. Oh, I wonder if they're pre-selling them. Oh, they're in stock. Give me 1 sec. I'll take a look. 1,916.59 subtract 1,831.6. Is that correct? 2021 1 ounce American Eagles Type 2s. Spot plus $85. Boy, that sounds wacky low to me. I'll look into that a little more. I got to check, but I think the wholesale sheets look like they've changed dramatically. Not a bad deal at that price, but I think, again, that is in probably larger quantities. Let's take a look and see if we can find what kind of quantities that they're talking about. Oh yeah, there you go, 100 plus. So if you're willing to buy, and I can still beat that price. If you were going to buy 100 plus Gold Eagles, I can still beat that price. If you're going to buy 1 to 9 Gold Eagles, I can still beat that price. But if you look, 1 to 9 is substantially. I don't like that they put the 500. It's kind of a little misleading if you took a look at it. Well, not really. Put it as low as, all right? I want to see they're as high as price, though. Most people can't afford to buy 500 of them. But no less, I can beat JM Bullion's prices on all these products. The best deals are probably the gold bars. Maples would be second. Krugerrands would be third. I don't think they have any Krugerrands. And I got them. Nah. So Krugerrands I've got, and that kind of stuff. And again, your local dealer should be able to pretty easily beat JM Bullion's prices on most of the stuff. When it comes to some of these other products down here, let's see, popular products. Definitely avoid stuff like this. Premiums are absolutely ridiculous, ludicrous on that stuff. The Balcomies. As much as I like the Balcomi, those little fractional bars, they're just crazy money. And oddly enough, I don't see JM hucking too much overpriced bullshit out here. Let's take a look. Actually not too bad. They've got some good deals on this page, but again, your local dealer like myself should be able to beat these prices pretty handily. Well, let's take a look at yesterday's video, which was positive real rates my ass. It made me laugh even. And let's take a look at some comments here. A couple comments from yesterday. I'd like to thank everybody for watching. Alex, Michael, Joey, thank you very much. Yeah, Jim Cramer makes me want to puke too, especially after what he said last time. But no less, that guy's an idiot in my opinion. But, you know, he makes money for himself. BJ says, I cannot get an answer to this question, and this is not a prank. I received a tube of Highland Mint 1 ounce silver buffaloes as random choice. Upon opening the tube, the first round had light scratches or smudge under the buffalo. Thought maybe it happened during shipping, but upon looking at the other 19 tubes, they all had the same mark, and not to be crude, it looks like as if the buffalo is urinating on the mound right next to the letter U in an ounce. Is this an accident or a security feature? Because all 20 rounds I had received had the same mark from the Highland Mint. You know what? Don't worry about it, Mr. Stambaugh. If you brought those into me, I would look at them and just say, oh, big deal, and I'd buy them for the same price as I'd buy the non-urinating buffaloes from you. That is a minting issue probably, and if you're seeing black mark on there, probably some kind of grease got into the dye or some kind of plastic or grease, something black got in there, so you're probably seeing that in combination with the depression that a strike through. Say, for example, before the blank is struck, you stuck something between the dies, like a piece of plaster or a little bit of grease. That'll show up as a black line, or that'll show up as a depression on the coin, or kind of a crack or something like that. So that's what you have. Being that it's not numismatic, don't worry about it. It's just silver. In fact, your pissing buffaloes seem a little bit more interesting than the non-pissing versions. No less, don't even worry about it. Don't even try to get a refund on it. It's not a big deal. I know some of us really like aesthetically pleasing things, but you're just buying silver. And in fact, like I said, I think your urinating buffalo is even more interesting than a non-urinating buffalo. So relax, go to sleep, don't worry about it. Don't go to sleep, I'm sorry. Relax, don't worry about it, and no need to call them up or turn it back into them. Again, any dealer worth of salt will buy it back from you for the same level as the other ones. Thanks for watching, BJ, and I didn't think that was a prank, and it was actually a very good question. I appreciate you asking that. Power raise rates, yep, exactly. Zipper fix, thanks for watching. Blue collar bullion baller. Oh, that matches, that rhymes. Buying platinum this year, 12 ounce gold, have 10 more to go. Yeah, platinum sub 1,000, I just really like it. I like that number, sub 1,000 platinum for buying. Exactly, Kevin and Gomer. Check out the Hilton Head Eagle Land Trust Cam, 2 young eagles. Yeah, I saw another one in Dade County. They are pretty cool. I'm going to probably start posting more eagle videos in the morning when I start up instead of just fish. Thanks for watching, Gomers, and that suggestion. John Gordon says comics silver price reckoning is effectively taking all income and wealth that would otherwise see the natural silver price over 100, which also has been the historical spending power of silver, where gold is near its historical spending power of $2,000 accounts. I don't know what a historical spending power is, John, but I do know that, yeah, silver has been kept down, as has been the price of gold by comics markets, London, all these crooked exchanges that deal in gold that give favoritism to large bullion banks, large commercial banks, and let them manipulate markets because they make money off it. So yeah, it is a crooked racketeer market, but as I've always said, if you don't play, you can't win. So what are you going to do? Not play the game and not win at all? The key to playing the game is knowing how they manipulate it. And once you know how it's manipulated, then these little down days and these down years like 2021 don't bother you at all, because again, the historic track record of precious metals is excellent. So that alone should let you sleep at night and not worry about it. And we will see our day. No worries. We've seen it a couple times before already. We'll see it again. Let's see. I own a little plate. So valuable I hide in my Cadillac. Great place to hide your palladium in your Cadillac converter. I was going to suggest that to you folks. Nice intro in the Eagle's Nest. I used to work as a bank chairman. Whenever we had a meeting, I was a man who set up the chairs. Chairman. Oh, nice job. Hey, no stress in that job. That's for sure. D-Man, this is so nice to hear. I don't watch you every day anymore, Brian. I do check you out at least once a week. And I'm actually very pleased to hear this. You taught me enough to work this out with the reading, but thank you for that. And again, that's kind of my whole purpose here, is to show you what I know, show you all the websites that I read, show you what I'm reading. I'm sharing my knowledge with you, sharing my learning with you as well. As I'm learning, you're learning too. So that's really nice to hear, Demon, that a lot of the stuff that I'm reading and these websites that I'm looking at, Misery Index, Treasury Yields, talking about even down to zero hedge and walls. If you're reading all this stuff on a daily basis, I think you're way ahead of the game. So I'm glad I could help you become a wiser stacker. I think that's it. I'd like to thank everybody for watching my videos. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button and the subscribe button. I really appreciate that. And this is Brian Kuzmar. I've been doing this since 1977, second generation dealer. Been in this location since 1995. I only deal locally, so you have to live in my area in order to deal with me. We're here 10 to 4 Mondays through Fridays in a brick and mortar location in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. If you don't live in my area and you got questions, please put it in the comments section. Happy to answer them. And if you do live in my area, don't hesitate to call me if you're buying or selling gold and silver and you're interested in prices and what the best deals are. We're happy to help you out. And again, if you don't live in my area, put it in the comment section. I'm always pretty good at answering this stuff. I think that's it. Thanks for watching. Have yourself a great day, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye now.